The long wait is over, the summer is gone, the best leagues in the land are back.
It's time to raise the game. Hello everybody, it is Wednesday, it is everyone's favourite day because the best league in the land is here. And by here, I mean in the East Midlands. We're getting to the stage of the season where it might look sunny, but we can see our breath and we're putting our hands in our pockets because it is absolutely freezing, but it's a great day and some great company as well. We have Loughborough Lightning's very own Red Rose, Lily Ives Campion. You're bringing the brains today, but before that, let's find out how you are. What's going on?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, how are you?
Yeah, really, really well. And I'm looking forward to this, not just the game, but sort of digging into how you've been, because you've had a pretty amazing couple of months, haven't you? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I have. It's been really amazing. I was grateful enough to go out to WXV with England, out in Canada, which was an unbelievable experience. And yeah, and now I've come back to Loughborough, Prem started going and having a really great time. So.
Well, the Prem is as competitive as it's ever been. Women's BUCS Super Rugby is in an incredible place. So tell us about Loughborough. What's happening here? How happy is everyone with how the Prem's going, and how is that filtering down into this BUCS Super Rugby team? Yeah,
like the pathway here is really close, very fluid. So we've had quite a few of the BUCS players playing within the Prem itself, but we've had some really good performances over the last few weeks, and I think that they can take that into today. Like, there's a lot of players who are really fluid between the two squads, so they've had the experience of the Prem, and now they can have the experience with the BUCS girls now and drive that within the squad.
You talk about that pathway, and it is evidenced. If you didn't watch what was then the Women's National League final when Lily was on co-coms with us, she's not played a lot of BUCS rugby because she's big time, she's Premiership, she's England and all that. But when Loughborough came second in that game, you were absolutely devastated, weren't you?
I think I actually went speechless on the comms for the last 15 minutes.
Which was so helpful, thank you.
It was just such a close game, and I think that I was just there for the girls that whole time, and I think that final was such a close final, and I think that both teams played so well, but Hartpury came out on top that day.
What about this season then? What about this group? Where do you think they're at?
I think they're in a brilliant place. I think that the squad cohesion's been brilliant. I think that they're playing some really good rugby within the whole side, and I think, yeah, it's going to be a really great game today.
He got really close to us then, didn't he? What's he doing? Anyway, as you can see behind us, the two teams are warming up. We're doing this live, which is super fun. We're going to hear from Matty C shortly. Tell us about him and the impact he's had in the group in the short time he's been here.
So he's come in new this year, and I think that he's pretty big shoes to fill with KTT, and I think that he's done really well, and he's really good with the girls. I think he's shown he's a real attacking coach, and I think that's really shows in the way we're playing at the moment.
The way women's rugby works at the moment, the rivalries are really building, whether it's in the Premiership, whether it's in BUCS Super Rugby, and these two teams have met. Exeter were comfortable winners when they met recently. How much is revenge or just doing better fresh in the mind of this Loughborough group, do you think?
Yeah, completely. I think that they're going to come at this with a different mindset. I think we're at home, it's 4 p.m, there's going to be a lot of people here coming to watch. I think that they're really going to play into that. I think that obviously they weren't happy with the last result, but that means they can take that into this game today.
Certainly can. Speaking of Matty C, Burnsy spoke to him earlier, and this is what he had to say.
Matt, thank you for joining us. It's the first time that we're seeing Loughborough women on the stream this season. It's the first time we're seeing you in action as well, a newcomer to Women's BUCS Super Rugby. Tell us, how are you finding the experience so far?
It's been brilliant. The girls have been amazing at kind of making me feel welcome, which has been kind of like the main thing. Is obviously moving from Edinburgh down to here has been a bit of a tough thing, kind of leaving my girlfriend up there and moving down here. But yeah, it's been brilliant. The standard of training, the standard of players that I'm kind of involved with, it's been a kind of coach's dream. So yeah.
What about the teams you're playing? What about the standard of opposition out there?
That's the kind of the main pull of the league itself. I think is just seeing girls that can play like a level that's this competitive, kind of week in week out. With girls that are kind of also on the cusp of playing or currently playing professional rugby, it's an awesome league.
Well, you mentioned professional rugby, and Loughborough are intertwined with Loughborough Lightning, who are in the Women's Premiership, and you've got a role there, but also the victim of your own success as well in terms of some players not being available today.
Yeah. So there's an injury in training yesterday means that one of our players had to drop out of being available. That's obviously a shame, but it gives someone else a really good opportunity to kind of step up and play. So.
Right, let's talk about the big event today. Exeter v Loughborough, men or women, first team or seventh. It's always a big clash. And this is a repeat of last year's semi-final, the one that thrilled us and the one that got Loughborough to that first final in a long, long time. You've played each other as well already this season. So tell us, how big a contest is this for you today?
Yeah, exactly that. It's a huge contest. We know that Exeter, they're very physical, and we know they can also play rugby as well. So it's not just a case of them trying to kind of beat us up. It's they've got some real skill in that team. It's again though, that's what's exciting, isn't it? It's kind of like pitting yourself against the best, and then hopefully being able to kind of get on the other side of that.
You'll have probably strategically blocked this from your memory to this point, but you have met already this season, not too long ago, and it was a resounding victory for Exeter. So what are the things that you've been working on, particularly with Exeter in mind, looking to get revenge today?
So the main thing for us is that we were actually in the game at half time, and then we had a bit of a kind of set piece crumble in the second half, which meant we defended for almost the entirety of the second half. I think the main thing for us is just that kind of stability to give us the ability to kind of be brave and attack how we want to attack. That's the kind of main thing that we've been working on.
And lastly, first time we're seeing Loughborough. There's some familiar names, but some unfamiliar names. If you could pick out a couple, who would me and the viewers be looking out for this evening?
Wow. So Ellie Roberts is back from injury, so that's a really exciting one for us. She's been brilliant training. She played really well for Lightning in the kind of pre-season games. So I'll be really excited to see her kind of back on the pitch. In terms of new players, we've got Alice Bennett as a new winger. She's fantastic. Definitely look out for her, and Abby Hart as well. Like both of them first years. She'll be coming off the bench, Abby, and they're both really exciting kind of young prospects.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing them. We're looking forward to seeing Loughborough in action. Go well.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
The pre-game thoughts there of Matt ahead of this one. It is Loughborough versus Exeter. It is Women's BUCS Super Rugby, the first of a double header of games here at, do we call it Epinal Way these days, or the first 15 pitch? What is it?
The Crumb.
The Crumb.
The Crumb.
I'm old enough to remember when this was grass, but that is a story for, I don't know, when you really want to be bored to tears. Exeter, they are a serious outfit again, whether it is this league that they sit top of or Premiership Women's Rugby where they're tearing up trees. What makes them such a high quality outfit?
Well, I think they're a really physical and dominant team, especially within their forward pack. I think that gives them really great momentum within the game, and I think they really play with that. I think they're really well coached as well by population. I think that they're going to come out today, and they're going to come out today with some fierce, and I think it's going to be really great.
They've been a bit spicy on social media as well. They're very good, and they know they're good, and I absolutely love it. You played against them in the semi-final last year, and that was one of the biggest BUCS wins in recent history for Loughborough.
Yeah.
How was that?
That game was amazing. To this day, it's still one of the hardest games I've played in. I think that both teams played really well, and I was just so impressed, and I just had so much fun. And I think that's exactly what this league is about. It's playing with your friends, but playing at a competitive level, and that's what I really loved about it.
Well, with that in mind, Exeter have had their revenge. I'm going to let you pop that microphone down and get up to the warm to join Bernsey for commentary, and we are going to take a look at the first time these teams met this season in BUCS. Oh, you off you? All right, bye-bye. Exeter have already got a 50-pointer against Loughborough this season. Let's take a look at how that one panned out. Exeter, impressive, not just on that day, but throughout this BUCS Super Rugby League season so far. They are top of the tree, and they'll be looking to put that extra star on it as we build towards Christmas. Loughborough currently in the top 4. A win today would really secure their playoff credentials and send them into 2025 with a bang. This one is live. Lily Ives Campion has already made her way up, and she is joining the Fresh Prince of Kew Gardens, Joe Burns.
Thank you, D-Rog. Good to be back on your screens for another BUCS Super Wednesday, and a double bill at that, at the home of the men's champions last year and the runners-up in the women's competition too. Loughborough are hosting Exeter in a double bill, and we're kicking off with the women's BUCS Super Rugby, a replay of last year's semi-final, the one that thrilled us to the very last minute, and a try scorer in that match, and someone who's shown their England athleticism in leaping up from pitch side is Lily Ives Campion. He's now with me on co-coms.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, we're working you hard, aren't we?
Yeah, I just had to run from one side of the pitch up here.
But we're not going to see you out there on the pitch, which is a bit of a sadness for us, but you're too big time these days.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Let's talk about your team that you're putting out there this evening. Who of the 23 that have been selected are the ones that are exciting for you? Who are the names that are catching the eye?
I think for me, Leah Green. She's been an amazing player. She's an amazing 10. She's really good at controlling the game, and I think she's going to really help aid Loughborough today. And
like the contest, Exeter. Well, what sort of emotions does that stir within you when you see Exeter in the calendar and you see it coming up as that fixture of the week?
I think for me, it's always a lot of excitement, and I think the girls feel that today. I think that they're a really dominant side, really physical side, but I think that really excites the team today to go after them.
So do you think that's where the game is won and lost today? It's all about the physicality and fronting up?
I think so, yeah. I think that's always what happens with these games. I think they're such physical games that we're going to have to go through teams, and I think you've got to go through teams to earn to go out wide, and I think that's where that's going to be today.
And I touched on it with Matt Campbell, the result that happened, I think it was only 41 days ago in Exeter on the Crumb. Humbling at the hands of Exeter. How much fuel in the fire is that going to be for the girls this evening for Loughborough?
Yeah, I think they've probably got a lot they want to say today. I think they're going to come out here. They're going to come out here fired up, and I think they're going to be really excited for this test.
Yeah, go on, hit us with the results, mate. Well, these are how the results went down last week in the men's competition, but our focus here this evening is on the women, and it was a huge result north of the border in Edinburgh as they inflicted Exeter's first defeat of the season, going down 33-29 as Edinburgh ousted Exeter at Peffer Mill. Loughborough, big victory, and a revenge one at that, over the reigning champions Hartbury, whilst for Durham it's tough going at the moment, but seeing improvements with every time they take to the field. Well, that's how the table stands at the moment. Exeter top of the log, but you can see it is tight and congested in there between the 1, 2, 3 and 4. Exeter and Loughborough are teams this evening, bookending Hartbury and Edinburgh, with the ever-improving Cardiff Mets in hot pursuit of that top 4. So this is how it's going to go down in the Midlands, a chilly Midlands at that. Loughborough v Exeter in the women's tonight, kicking off at 4, whilst elsewhere Edinburgh will be hosting Cardiff Met in a Scottish-Welsh clash. Right, well, let's take a look at the Loughborough lineup, coached by Matt Campbell, who's taken over from Katie Trevarthen this season, retired from playing and coaching with over 100 appearances for Lightning, and very much the foundations that she has built coursing through this team. Lucy Finch captains at number 8. She's a former England 18s captain, whilst the centres are looking particularly tasty with Molly Lutei on the England 20s pathway, having been capped against France this year, whilst Carmela Morale has had some journey to find herself in Loughborough. Born in Hong Kong, played out in Dubai as a youngster, and now treading the fields in women's BUCS Super Rugby. Poppy Leach, as ever, at the helm for Exeter. She was a BUCS double champion herself in her playing days, and she is now leading the charge to try and reach another final, having been thwarted by Loughborough last season. Naomi Brennan, who's been turning out for the Chiefs this season, captains at centre and is partnered by Hermione Titcombe, and there is huge amounts of power and experience in the pack, no less so than Italian Alessia Skeets and vice-captain Anna Richardson, who was among the England 20s this summer in Italy. Right, Lily, we've spoken quite a lot about Loughborough, obviously, because you're here, but you know this Exeter team pretty well, and there's a lot of England players who you've pulled on the 20s jersey with as well.
Yeah, there is. There's the likes of Anna Richardson. I think that I've played quite a few games with her now, and what a great player she is. She's so physical, she's so direct. The same with like Abby Middlebrook. She's got so much experience. I think they're just going to really play into the hands of Exeter today.
It's I mean, it's not an easy league, is it? BUCS Super Rugby. Like, we're looking at that full of 20s, and you know, you throw a dart at any of these 23s, and you're probably going to hit a player who's played PWR. I mean, what was it like for you when you were coming up with Loughborough, knowing just how close you were to becoming, you know, a fully fledged kind of Premiership player?
I think that experience is really exciting. I think for a player, knowing within the pathways that you had the opportunity to do that and the opportunity to train, I think, yeah, I was just really excited.
Well, we're excited as well. So too, because we've got Emily Hope in the middle, who was running the line in the BUCS Super Rugby final at the StoneX earlier in the year. She's been at the helm for all of Exeter's home matches this season, but yet to whistle a Loughborough game. But very, very distinguished woman in the middle to keep order on what promises to be a feisty affair. Final messages being delivered in a tight huddle from Exeter, while Loughborough, who were maybe questing for consistency this season, are taking any last frustrations of defeat away against Cardiff Met earlier in the season out on the bags before introducing them to a couple of Exeter rib cages. Right, Lily, we're about 60 seconds away from kick-off. Time to put your head on the chopping block. What way is this going to go?
I actually think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be really hard to tell, but I'm hoping Loughborough come away with the win today.
Predictable. But one thing you are assured of is plenty of points, plenty of tries, and two teams that will never give up out there. Loughborough, in their iconic African violet, have the ball in the hands of their playmaker, Leah Green, ready to kick into the arms of Exeter and get round 8 of the women's BUCS Super Rugby season underway, and claimed smartly by Ellie Wood, who's come through the Devon ranks, educated at Exeter College, to very well-defined pathway down there in Exeter. There's an early carry from Abby Middlebrook. And Exeter going to their big pieces of furniture early. Few carries under the belt and testing the shoulders of the Loughborough defence. Out to the edge now, showing a bit of width and a bit of danger through Elsie Fairn. Very elusive, darting back in from that right wing. This time it's Kate Smith carrying hard, and the penalty comes to Exeter.
That was some really good play there from Exeter. Really got the ball through the hand to the edge, and now they've come away with the penalty.
Pretty slick, right?
Yeah.
A lot of passes, sticking, very much a sense of everyone knowing what their job was in that opening passage. And Exeter have gone to the touchline, and we'll see the line out in action straight up. Phoenix Davis, who was in that semi-final last year alongside her identical twin Madison, who plays centre. Phoenix, a converted centre herself, goes to the middle, finds Smith, and Exeter build a drive. They peel away, they invite the hard-running line of Titcombe, who puts in some footwork, but Leah Green smart to it. More good play from Exeter, precise, out the back they go, and a drop of the shoulder isn't bought by the Loughborough defence, emphatically smashed back by Morale. This time, Ellie Wood takes a Loughborough shoulder. Through the middle they go, slam to the ground. Marshall zips it out to the left, lovely disguised ball going short, but again, Loughborough stand resolute. This is some pressure that is building from Exeter as Cunningham opts to go by herself. Kate Smith again with a carry, big industry from the second row early. Titcombe blasts through a hole. Exeter as close as they've been. Brennan on to Davis. And now Exeter with the line. Get it into Fenn's hand. Goodness, she runs hard. Batters into Winter. And now Exeter, we lost sight for a moment, but they're still in possession. Up to the 5 metre. Width being offered, just a little hint of an intercept, and it was there for Morale. Loughborough breathe a sigh of relief, but they're still hemmed in that 22. But epic defence from the home side.
No, I agree. That was some really good defence there from Loughborough. I think they've done really well. They had those two-man shots, as we'd say, to be really dominant.
Quite a lot of nice variety to Exeter's attack there as well. You know, they're not afraid to go wide, but also they're putting some big units into wider channels, tighter channels as well.
Yeah, they're moving the ball really well. They look at those tip options. It's really creating a lot of pressure there for Loughborough, and I think that they've done really well to manage that within the 22.
Ball away.
They're just waiting for the ball. The Exeter line out was good first up. The Loughborough one less so. Middlebrook rampaging into the 22, slings an ambitious offload. Doesn't stick, but more intent shown from Exeter. Abby Middlebrook, she was in Italy with you over the summer with the 20s, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. She came over, and what a great player she is. She's a real physical player, really good in the scrum. And as you can see there, like with hands on the ball, she's really lethal.
She's been around for a long time despite her young age as well, like a lot of experience, as you said.
Yeah, we've played a lot together. We've played a lot together for a few years now, and I think that she's done really well, and she's doing really well within this BUCS side here today.
Well, first sighting of the scrum, and Exeter with a marginal nudge, but Loughborough coming away with it. Good shot coming in from Hermione Titcombe as Green seeks salvation in the touchline. And it's a good clearance. Well, all the possession and all the pressure with the green and white hoops of Exeter thus far. Loughborough yet to enjoy any time in the Exeter half. And Davis finds Smith again in the middle, but it doesn't quite go to script on this occasion. Loughborough on the ball, and Lucy Weaver organising her players outside her. Good carry from Catherine Baverstock, who is more often seen in the loose head prop position, but playing 6 this evening. Big shot coming in as Alex Baker looked to release those out wide, and Loughborough are just hammered in to their 22 at the moment. Kiwi Fitzpatrick gets a bit of momentum before Green, under immense duress, skews one to touch. And
Well, they're being really direct, they're playing forward, and they just had a few errors which have got them into this position here, but what a great platform here for them.
This time it's Wood instead of Smith, and this time it's clean and the maul is built. Just see the 2 second rows there, like a pair of periscopes, just encouraging the grunt from those around them. Into the hands of Titcombe. Busy opening passage for the inside centre and a penalty for Exeter.
No clear release.
Corner, Lily?
Yeah, I think so. I think Exeter really pride themselves on their mauling. They're going to be really dominant here, and then they're going to look to put it over the line.
And what are you doing here defensively? Are you putting someone up, or are you waiting and hitting them?
I think that just with the penalties they're on, I think they should stay down and hit this, but I'm not sure what their plan is out there today.
Exeter, well-populated line out, all the numbers available, and Wood picked out in the skies. Loughborough don't compete, and Exeter begin to turn the screw. They rumble round to the right, and the power is irresistible. Exeter's dominance in this opening 8-minute pays, and they get the first try of the game.
I felt like you could really see that coming. I think that Exeter have played really, really well in these opening 10 minutes. I think that they've dealt with momentum really well. They've been really direct, yet that's what got them into that position down there.
Quite a big moment for Exeter as well, given that pressure that you felt they had to come away with some points. Otherwise, psychologically, that could have been an even bigger win for Loughborough to keep them at bay. But the pack go over, and Cunningham, with beautiful form, splits the poles to make it a 7-pointer. It's Loughborough 0, Exeter 7, just shy of 10 minutes played.
This is a really well-worked try here. I think they've been really tight, really together, which then got them over the line here.
It looks like Millie Whitehouse was the body underneath the heap. Decent sevens player, Millie Whitehouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as well as 15s, I'm told. And, well, speaking of north of the border, she's travelled south, in fact, having played for Edinburgh in the Celtic Challenge earlier this year, a competition that's being expanded this season, both home and away. And sort of pitching to be a rival to the PWR, but for the Celtic nations in some way. Good competition in the air, and Lucy Finch gets a captain's glove to it to give Loughborough a bit of treasured possession on the outskirts of the Exeter 22. That is a big carry from Kiwi Fitzpatrick. And now Loughborough look for the width. Wonderful clutch from Morale. And now Weaver gives it to the centre again, but not sure it's the ball that she wanted. Kind of got caught in no man's land there, Carmela Morale.
I think this is more of the attacking platform Loughborough would like to play. I think that they did well with pressure, forcing a line out back in the 22. I think they've done some really, really good direct carries into the middle, but it's just a shame.
There's a lot of power there for Loughborough. They must have had advantage that I was unaware of, because the ball is now in Lucy Weaver's hands.
Set.
Another England 20, another who's played Loughborough Lightning alongside the likes of Hannah Rowland. And, I mean, that's as messy a scrum as you'll see.
Let's not delay the ball in. Let's make sure we're staying in that contest. There. Thank you.
Interesting that the scrum has shifted to one side. Usually that's reserved for pitches that are actually made of grass when when it's being chewed up. But maybe that little shimmy to the right is going to give the 16 a little more stability.
Set.
Weaver. A lot more stable for Loughborough, but now the power comes from Exeter. It's a brilliant pickup from Finch under pressure, and she really makes the most of it. Gets it to Green, who can't find her centres, but morale's on hand. Sells the dummy, pumps the Pistons, just buys enough time for the purple jerseys to get behind the ball. Baverstock. Beefy carry into Exeter arms. Green. Now it's the hooker, Calladine. Finch, one more, onto Bennett. Bennett linking up with Baker, and then the cover comes across and engulfs the Loughborough fullback. But the best attacking passage of the match so far for Loughborough.
Yeah, that was a great defence there from Exeter, really utilising that touchline. I think Loughborough seem a little bit unsure right now in their attack. I think they haven't been as direct as they probably need to be. I think that, yeah, they'll really take that after this line out here.
The line out hasn't been beyond reproach for Exeter, but the banker at the front is usually a good bet when you're tight to the line. Claimed by Woods. And a penalty for Exeter's the dream outcome.
Pink one.
This is a really good release of pressure here for Exeter. Allows them to kick the ball out of their 22. Allows them to move up the pitch.
It's all right.
Penalty count certainly going against Loughborough at the moment. And as he said, perfect pressure releases.
Hold it there.
We take a pause for a bit of treatment. I think, just straining these old eyes of mine, I think it's Alicia Skeets
Time is off.
who's just out of shot. I wonder, Lily, I mean, I know that you're currently not playing in BUCS Super Rugby, but you have a good sort of touch on the year that went before when you were playing, and now this new crop, and you've seen the cycles of university rugby. How difficult is it to, I guess, like establish a new culture and a new team, but also bringing the positive elements of the past with you? Because I think that's the thing that we love about BUCS Super Rugby is every year you get a new cast. You get all these new players coming in, but you as a player who's been around longer and sort of knows what it's like to really compete at the top, it's not always easy to blend that talent into the ones who've been doing it before.
Yeah, because ultimately that's the beauty of BUCS teams. They change yearly, and I think that that's really exciting for this league. It makes it competitive. It makes new faces coming into the squad, and I think that it's keeping those core values in the team and keeping them consistent. And keep them consistent, all players can buy into those and then buy into those to play. Hence why when teams change, when players change and faces come in, faces come out of the squad, I think it's really important then. So players can come together and then play for this team.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you're kind of, I guess, a graduate of the league into higher honours, including international honours now. But there's going to be players that you play with who didn't play in this league because it wasn't of as much importance. I don't know, like an Emily Scarrett, for example. I mean, does everyone tune in? Does everyone keep an eye on what's going on in women's BUCS Super Rugby?
Yeah, completely. We're a really close squad.
Yeah.
BUCS and Lightning, and I think that you'll see a lot of the girls here today on the sidelines watching that they're completely invested into this league and into these girls. There's a lot, like our pathway is really fluid. There's a lot of these girls will train with Lightning, and that's really important that we support them.
Maul! Space.
Well, Ellie Woods who's a Devonian through and through, having started her journey at Sidmouth,
Yes, please, 9.
is right in the nucleus of that melee of bodies, having claimed it from the line. And now Fionn Marshall, the Welsh scrum half, gets the back line going. Naomi Brennan straightens and gets clobbered.
Clear out's good.
Beautiful shot coming in from Carmela Morale. That's a lovely battle that's developing in the midfield. Round the corner, Exeter and Anna Richardson go. Former Tyndale Panther.
No, not now.
Good counter from Loughborough, but not really there to capitalise on the grunt work. One bounce on the 4G, doesn't find the touchline, and Baker backs her footwork, collides into Middlebrook. And Loughborough up to the halfway. Green thinks about going out the back, instead ships it to one of her props. Green growing into the game, looking controlled and composed, and here's Alice Bennett stepping in but meeting a roadblock in Ellie Woods.
All backwards.
Lucy Weaver almost pings one into referee Emily Hope. And now she goes back into the pocket, and it's boot to ball from Green, which feels like a sagacious call, having lost meters across the last 3 phases. Exeter, though, love to counter, but they need snappier hands. Connie Clark,
release.
the one found juggling a bouncing ball. Somehow, the green and white have come away from it. Ellie Woods back into the action and getting a taste of her own medicine
No.
from her opposite number, Izzy Winter. Lily, I can't remember the last time the ball was out of play.
Retreat now.
It's been really great, isn't it?
Green targets the touchline on the angle, but still the ball refuses to surrender to the touchline. Finally, a penalty is surrendered, though.
You can't attempt to roll at the jacket.
Green emerges with it, and Loughborough with a prime piece of real estate to send this one deep into Exeter territory.
I think that was really great there. I think both teams got into a really great kick battle.
Just leave the breakdown, it's
Not
okay.
too much that I'm not that smart around that. But I think that, yeah, they dealt with the pressure there really well, and they've come away managing to gain territory, and I think that's what they needed from that.
You're one of the ones in the middle
Time is
pretending
off, yeah.
to run back, aren't you? Like just bouncing between the two 10-metre lines.
Something like that.
Yeah, they've changed that law now, though, so you know Ford's got to work harder when the kick battle's going on.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a break in play. I think it's Anna Richardson who
Yeah, absolutely.
is getting her right knee mummified at the moment.
Time's still off.
Arguably Loughborough's best opportunity to put points on the board with less than a quarter of the match played.
Okay. Time on.
Oh, Richardson's personal tape bill is looking eye-watering on a Wednesday night.
Maul!
Izzy
We're round
Winter
7, we're round
claims
7.
it smartly, and Loughborough are looking to dish out a bit of mauling justice to Exeter here. 5 metres from the Devonians line, a break, a surge, and a try for the African Violet. All the hard work was done by those in front, and just a little glint of light and a nose for the line, and Loughborough have their response.
Yeah, that was really great from Loughborough. I think they won that territory battle, which then put them into this position. And then I said it earlier in the game, it's going to be a really physical game. It's going to be forward heavy. And I think that you can see that there by 2 tries scored in the game with 2 more tries. And I think that they were really physical here, really dominant, which allowed them to go over to the line.
Well, here we see it. And it was wonderfully built. The foundation's so strong, and we can see Lucy Calladine burrowing away there to get her hand securely, and a long way from Exeter hands, and valiant effort from Ellie Cunningham, but one-on-one with Lucy Calladine from that range. There's only going to be one winner. And unlike the outstanding conversion from Exeter, this one doesn't sail over, so Loughborough still trail, but just a pair of points in it with the 20-minute mark coming up. Purposeful return from Molly Lutey. That's beautifully worked in the midfield. Fitzpatrick charging through after the little tip ball, and a chasm in that Exeter defence. Now they're to the edge. Now Loughborough expressing themselves through the footwork of McCall.
Space.
Green, plenty of options. Goes to the try scorer, Calladine. But Green
Come back. 5.
just lifts her eyes
Green,
a beat
5.
too early, but that's because the Exeter press was too eager. Well, that is awesome play from Exeter's left winger, Eva Sterrett, the Irish Sevens player.
No.
Middlebrook came hurtling in there like a comet, but stopped in her tracks. And Exeter lose possession in the contact. Lucy Weaver
We'll take the knock on.
gets steamrolled, but it was advantage. Big defensive set there from Loughborough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're sort of lost in the game there, Lily, transfixed by what's going on in front of us.
No, yeah, it was. I think they did really well, because it's a shame they kicked the ball out for a line-out, but the winger did really well there to keep the ball in play, keep that momentum, keep momentum high, and I think she's done really well, but it's unfortunate then to get that knock on.
Yes, Eva Sterrett that was, formerly of Old Belvedere and Leinster.
Crouch.
Captain the Ireland University Sevens team this summer at the University Championships.
Yes, please, 9.
The Loughborough scrum is holding up well to the Exeter examination at the moment. Morale. Oh, that's beautiful hands from Loughborough. They've opened up Exeter on that left edge, and Alice Bennett is going to scorch in for Loughborough's seconds. Super slick hands and double quick feet, and Loughborough into the lead.
I think that really came from Carmela there. She really got through the contact, got her arms through to give the offload, which allowed then Molly to make that line break.
It's Carmela Morale who models her game, I'm told, on Portia Woodman Whitcliffe. So combining that strength in those hands to create the space for Alice Bennett. And Loughborough having soaked up so much pressure from Exeter have been utterly clinical when opportunity is knocked. 2 sniffs, 2 scores, and Leah Green sizing up a lead extending conversion. Which she nails. Loughborough 12, Exeter 7.
Alice Bennett there scoring that try, and I think she's done really well. She's really speedy, got loads of speed behind her, and I think it was really great for Molly to pick off that last defender.
Couple of lightning centres combining nicely there, though. Lutey and Morale.
Yeah, they've both been involved within the squad, which gives them a lot of experience within this league now.
Catherine Baverstock runs into some heavy traffic. I feel like the physicality just stepped up a notch in the last 5 minutes and forces an error.
Yeah, Exeter's line speed's been great, which is ultimately forcing the knock-ons, and I think they're doing really well around the breakdown to stay high, and obviously that then forces the knock-ons there for Loughborough.
Well, I spoke of prime attacking real estate for Loughborough from the penalty that they ultimately converted into a try earlier, but big blindside to work with for Exeter here, and Richardson gets the hands beyond the challenge and gives it to her captain Brennan.
You're not on the ball, you're not on the ball.
Not on the ball, the call, so the Loughborough Jacklers ushered away. Another strong carry from Exeter's forwards, and it's smart footwork from Titcombe because she had to leap and catch it high, but managed to rebalance herself, and then Middlebrook and her heavy footsteps come round the corner. Skeets, the tight head, continues the work as Exeter look to thrust forward again through Smith.
Shot
2 metres out. Exeter in their happy place, picking and going and driving to the line. Not quite there. One more will do it. And it's Alessia Skeets.
That was really direct play there from Exeter. Really going through, utilising those tips options, being really direct, coming round the breakdown into a folding Loughborough defence. And I think that they've done really well to work that try.
Well, she was involved earlier in the passage with a couple of carries, Skeets. And then from half an inch out, applying the finishing touch. Cunningham, who is 11 from 17 this season in the league. Makes it 12 from 18. And Exeter retake the lead.
Yeah, some really direct carries there from Exeter. She's done really well. Really ID'd that space. Great leg drive into the contact, and ultimately the space opens up.
So difficult to keep teams out from that range, especially when they've got power like Exeter. You know, what's some of the strategies that you're looking to employ there as a defence, or is it mentality?
It's mentality, and also I think how aggressive you're willing to be. I think you've got to keep your body height low because you've got to like chop people and chop your body height, and I think that that's what's really important in that area of the pitch.
There's your mark.
Well, no sooner have Exeter wrest back the lead, they give a gift to their hosts from kick-off.
Let's go now.
Perfect view of the Loughborough setup here, Lily.
Crouch.
What do you think we're going to see?
Bind. Set.
Lily's just throwing her hands up, exasperated at what stupid question that is from me. But they might not get to play with it unless Weaver gets it out quickly. Green has to reach back. Second layer comes in. Morale lays the ball and invites a bit of pace from Freya McCall. Well watched by Exeter, but they're not watching closely enough as Alex Baker troubles the fringes, but then the opportunity's gone.
Under pressure, we'll take the knock on.
Alex Baker almost sneaking through the tightest of corridors.
She did really well
Yeah,
to
just
identify
inside,
that,
yeah.
and she was really quick to it, but I think the supporting players in Loughborough weren't as quick as her, and I think that ultimately led to that turnover there.
We could get a better picture on this side if we stay a bit more square, okay?
As Exeter put in
Crouch!
just an adjustment
Bind!
being asked of Churchy Knights.
Set!
Oh, and Loughborough's body positions are powering through Exeter's.
Not now, 6!
And they do incredibly well to fish the ball out when they were flat out in reverse there.
So clear out.
Anna
balls
Richardson making some important meters.
out. Green retreat!
But Exeter can only find Loughborough hands in Bennett, the try scorer. Oh, forklift and put down unceremoniously.
Yes, please, 9!
A big BUCS Super Rugby banger there in the midfield
Forward pass.
on Alex Baker. And from the ensuing passage, a forward pass from Loughborough. The physicality ratcheting up just that little more.
Time
Loughborough
off, play it
chasing
out.
here now. They've got really great field position, not too far out from the try line, so they're going to be chasing that game. That physicality is going to be up, so they're going to want to get points out of this.
It's a great scrum battle, isn't it? Because you'd say that probably Exeter mildly in the ascendancy in the opening 10 or 15, but we saw there, Loughborough absolutely had their number.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that Loughborough have really come into the game now. They're really flourishing within the game, and I think that this is going to be an exciting
Happy
last
10.
10 minutes this half.
Do you think there's a bit of a psychological element for Loughborough to overcome in these opening minutes? They lost 59-21 in Exeter only 42 days ago in the reverse of this fixture. So would there have been like some trepidation to overcome psychologically?
I think the squad between then and now is a slightly bit different. I think there was a lot of players in the squad playing today who were playing Premiership Cup within Lightning, and I think so. I think as much as that result favoured Exeter then, I think it's going to be really important for this team today to come out and kind of potentially forget about that and just play for this team at the moment.
You winced as I read that score line out a second ago, Lily. Sorry to bring up bad memories. It's not my intention. I want to make you feel as at home as possible here on this broadcast.
Set!
Well, Marshall leaves it for Richardson, and Richardson takes all the meters she wants, gets the hands beyond the tackle again, but almost too challenging for Connie Clark. But she does really well scrabbling around on the floor. Kate Smith, who came down south having joined from DMP last season. Exeter finding a bit of shape, finding just one soft shoulder and almost wriggling through. It's absolute war zone. One out from the breakdown at the moment. Skeets, try scorer, shows her soft hands to go to the second layer of attack.
That's it. Oh, no, it's not.
Determined leg drive to battle across the halfway. And Marshall
All
picks out
backwards.
Whitehouse,
All backwards.
who's been all action in the 6 jersey.
You're off your feet now, Green!
But Loughborough have pinched it. It's not the ball that Green wanted. She's done so well. Beats one, runs over another. Gets front foot momentum that just wasn't hers to take. Stephanie Atkinson takes a ball behind her.
On the floor and then the ball. 8.
And Loughborough get a penalty.
That's touch.
It's a good touch from Leah Green,
Green,
who's
that's yours.
perfectly capable at fullback as well. She started there for England 20s against the Army earlier this year. You tried scoring that one as well, weren't you, Lily?
Yeah, that was probably one of our first games as a group, and I think what a great game to play, because we really managed to play some great rugby and get a feel for the team and get a feel for our game plan.
I hear the commentary was outstanding as well on that match too.
Still scrum advantage.
You can't agree with me, Lily. You can't agree. Oh, beautiful dink over the top, and Morale latches onto it in open space and into the Exeter 22. Weaver, quick to it, to Green. Now Baker. Lovely disguise, passage of passing, and it's a brilliant tackle from Brennan, low and hard on McCall. The most fluid Loughborough have looked all night. Speaking of, Churchy carries on forward. And now Calladine barrels into 2 Exeter jerseys, takes 5 metres for the pleasure. And now it's Fitzpatrick, swatted by the desperate Exeter defence, who are working hard to repel the purple waves. Finch the captain. Calladine. Morale. One along. Footwork required, and back to Morale, who shows strength, and 3 Exeter defenders can't push her across the touchline. Now the forwards arrive. A pick and go from Ellie Roberts. Loughborough not quite there, but banging on the door, and all X can do is concede a penalty.
No, ball's not out. No, ball's not out. She's then diving on the ball. Time off.
That doesn't look good there for Ellie Roberts. I think Loughborough did really well on that last passage of play. That kick over from Leah, the collection from Carmela, I think that's something they might have ID'd before this game, into that space being there. But the play they had off of that, the out the back, utilising the edges going forward, I think has probably been their best passage of play so far.
What are the conversations going on in there? I can see Lucy Weaver being a really dominant voice in there.
I think it might be how direct we're being, how quickly can we set up. I think that at the moment we're seeing potentially being a little bit slow in who's receiving the ball, what we're doing, the idea of what we're doing. So I think potentially because she'll want to play quick. I know what she's like. She loves tempo. She's great with it. So I think that she'll probably want her forwards to be there as well.
Yeah. Would you like to see a little bit more tempo in Loughborough at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think we could potentially be killing our own momentum. And I think that we need to keep on top when we have line breaks. We have line breaks like Carmela had, or up on the edge, that we need to stay on top of that. We need to stay on top of teams. And I think that's probably what that conversation might potentially be having.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I've got.
The break in play is for an injury to Ellie Roberts, who came out second best from that breakdown close to the Exeter line. Another Lightning player.
I understand that energy's high. Just for me around there, we can't.
I have read a quote where she described the vibe at Lightning as electric.
Really?
Yeah, I did read that. I don't know if I love it or if I think that that's unforgivable from her.
I think it's something she would 100% say.
Yeah, making sure we're on side, make sure we're not pulling the ball. Thank you.
She's not just a fine player, but she's also giving back as a coach as well for the under-16 girls that haven't RFC, which is where that under-20s game was played against the Army earlier in the year with you, Lily. But
time's still on.
The attention has been administered, and sadly, I think that is the last we'll see of Ellie Roberts. Number 20, Abby Hart, is onto the field. Who's a late addition to the squad, in fact, coming in for Amelia Williams, who's been pulled up for Lightning duties. So Abby Hart with a big chunk of time to make an impact on this Wednesday evening at Loughborough.
She's a great player. She's been great coming in this season. She's a fresher within the group, so she's quite young in this environment as well. But she's been a really great player within this team.
Oh, she's being put up immediately and she shoulders the burden of responsibility lightly. She is the nucleus of this drive that Loughborough are building around and building towards the line unstoppably for Loughborough. And Lucy Calladine has a brace and Loughborough the lead once again. A ding-dong of a first half that's seen the lead change multiple times already is now back in the grasp of the home side.
Not yet. 2 minutes.
Again, another really well worked try for Loughborough. I think that the forward pack has been really dominant, and I think that that's been really important for them within this game. And I think that when you get 5 metres out, you've got to stop teams in this area, and I think that's where probably Exeter are going to be reviewing that under the posts.
We heard from the referee 2 minutes remaining. Leah Green will take a good portion of the 60 available for her to convert. But it slides across the face of the upright. So the maximum damage is spared for Exeter, but they do trail. And once again, it's Loughborough's pack who hammer it home from a driving maul, and Calladine making no mistake. Loughborough returned the kickoff through Molly Lute. And for the African Violet, it's a case of preserving this lead, or is it? Is it about extension? It's a wonderful tackle from Sterrett.
Touch.
And a Loughborough foot just grazes the paints, and Exeter will have one final platform to launch a first half attack.
This is a great opportunity here for Exeter. They've done really well in defence there, pushing Loughborough players out into the touch, giving them that line out, giving that last opportunity in this half.
Phoenix Davis makes sure. Just a little dip of the shoulder from Marshall, who sensed that there was a would-be interceptor flying up. So instead she goes it alone. Exeter feels like some time since they were going through the phases in the Loughborough half. Their response to the last try was quick. Will it be more of the same here as they look to break the 22 threshold? A real battle to the floor from Connie Clark, but she gets there. Oh, could that inside ball have gone to Ellie Wood? Marshall to Woodman. Oh, jolted to the floor. But Exeter now making inroads. Loughborough looking to jackal. The poachers ready to pounce. Oh, and that's fortuitously fallen into green and white hooped hands. And off goes Davis. Exeter, will they have the final say in this first half? A barreling run from Millie Whitehouse gets them close. Skeets already with a try. Is in for a double.
What a great return from Loughborough's try not too long ago to this one. They've really bounced back. They've really had the fire into that. They had one last opportunity for the second half with the line out. They've been really dominant, really physical, really direct, which allowed them to get into that. Like I said in the first 10 minutes, they've been utilising that tips, which has given them gain line on most carries, which allows them to get forward, and they've done a real well-worked try there.
High calibre finishing from both sides out there this evening so far. The continuity has truly caught the eye, and so too the flawless kicking display from Ellie Cunningham from the tee. with her third successful conversion of the half.
Whereabouts is it, Jen?
She stretches this Exeter lead. And Alessia Skeet would not be stopped from that range with that runner. She gets Exeter's third try of the match. We have our 6th of the first 40 minutes. And here in the Midlands, we have got a barnstorming contest between last year's semi-finalists shaping up to be another game for the ages. Half-time here, Loughborough 17, Exeter 21. Right, plenty of try lights to show you as the sun has gone down, the floodlights are blazing, and it was Exeter who got the scoreboard ticking. Millie Whitehouse, who has been at her rambunctious best throughout much of this first half, was latching on and finishing the fine work of the forwards before her. It was just reward for Exeter, who'd pressed and pressed in the opening 10 minutes, but Loughborough's first entry into the Exeter 22 yielded a try of their own from a driving maul, and it was a breakaway from the hooker, Lucy Calladine, who would get her first of 2 in the opening half. So that's what got the scoring underway. There were 4 more tries that came, and that's why at half-time it is Loughborough 17, Exeter 21. Well, this was arguably the pick of the bunch. Carmela Morale and Molly Lute combining to release the pace of Alice Bennett, who needed no second invitation. Exeter's power has been ominous throughout, and after going behind for the first time in the match, they responded immediately. Power pick and goes. And the final ingredient delivered by the tight head, Alessia Skeets. But Loughborough would come back. They'd come back for more. And Calladine and her hunger for the paint, evident to see, crashing across for try number 2 before late in the half, right on the buzzer, Skeets came hurtling forward once more. And that try and all 3 conversions from the boot of Ellie Cunningham means that at half-time here in the Midlands, it's Loughborough 17, Exeter 21. All right, plenty of action on the stream to fill you up for the festive season. As you can see, it's a double-header here in the Midlands. Loughborough hosting Exeter, a repeat of last year's final, a repeat of the last 2 finals, in fact. And for any of you who tuned in, they were truly epics. We are then off to the Welsh capital for 2 consecutive weeks. Cardiff hosting Hartpury before it is Cardiff Met versus Cardiff to bring the curtain down before Christmas. Who's Martin? Okay. So really full streaming picture for you this season, brought to you by BUCS Super Rugby. A lot of double headers in there as well, as we mark the first season of the Women's BUCS Super Rugby, formerly known as the Women's National League, but now it is Super. Speaking of Super, we've got a super coach, a BUCS Super Rugby winning coach in Martin Webdale. He's down on a frosty pitch side with D-Rog.
Yes, he is. Cheers, Burnsy. I hope it's warm up there because it is not warm down here. So you're going to have to give this chat some temperature. Welcome. You're in shorts like a maniac, but we got lots to look forward to this evening, haven't we? How's the week been?
Yeah, look, it's been a really good week. Dodged the snow Friday, Saturday, so shorts were put away on Saturday morning. But we had a good training session Saturday and then finished it off Monday night. Looking forward to tonight against Exeter.
Hey, legs are waterproof, aren't they? That's a lesson I've learned over the years. Let's talk about this game first. 17-21 at half-time. Spoke to Lily before the game. She's saying that the women's programme's in a great place. Premiership Women's Rugby, BUCS Super Rugby, and this is just evidence of that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. All credit to Nathan Smith and Charlie Beckett and the team there, just in terms of the girls crossing across from both PWR and the Women's BUCS Super Rugby, playing across both in the season. I think it's been great for the programme.
Let's have a preview of this evening then, because you haven't lost in BUCS Super Rugby since you went down to Topsham. Exeter started the season like they always do, like a scolded cat. They've had a little wobble though, haven't we? And we're not used to that as BUCS Super Rugby fans. Yeah,
look, Exeter perennially really strong, and last few games the results are there for everyone to see, but they still perform really well, and it'll be 100% tonight, I'm sure.
What about you and your lot then? Top of the league, looking down.
Yeah, look, we've gone well. We bring some confidence into tonight. We've been to Wales twice in the last 2 weeks, to Cardiff, Met and to Swansea. Came away with 10 points, which is massively important in the league whenever you go to Wales.
Long journeys. Anything you can tell us about the bus home?
No, the boys enjoyed themselves, certainly.
I'm sure they did. Do you know what? I'm looking behind me. The teams are already out for the second half. We will chat later. Good luck with the game. Burnsy, is it toasty up there? Are there any snacks? What's going on?
Thank you, D-Rog. Good to hear from Martin Webdale as ever, and a big match coming up as the champions host Exeter, looking to get their season back on track, having had a bit of a 3-game wobble recently. And speaking of wobble, that is a suboptimal kickoff that is going to hand possession right back to Loughborough from the get-go.
That is probably not how they intended to start this second half.
That is, that's one you don't want to see in review, is it?
I don't think so. But I think they probably had a lot of good conversations at half-time around how they can manage this lead they have and how they can continue to grow it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
It's all right. Crouch! Bind! Set! Yes, 9.
Weaver just delays that ball to maybe unsettle the Exeter drive that was coming a mile off, and it is emphatic too. They have chewed up the Loughborough pack, and Anna Richardson has Lucy Weaver clinging to her ankles as she makes a couple of meters, but Exeter lift their eyelids, but they have penalty advantage.
This could potentially give Exeter a real advantage here. They're early on getting into the Loughborough half, and I think that this will allow them to play with that momentum they probably need to keep their points up and keep in the lead.
Ping, that's your mark. You're on it, you're on it.
Davis with a shortened line out to aim for. Plenty of subterfuge and dummy jumps, and cleanly into the grip of Marshall. Exeter strike down the inside centre 10 channel. Forwards arriving, and it's a nice inside ball. And now the backs look like they want to play. Cunningham, very elegant runner, just slips the grip of the first tackler. Now Whitehouse and Middlebrook combine. Brennan cut in half by the left shoulder of Atkinson. Slow but steady progress. Hint that Knights may have been running back a little too lazily, craftily milked by Marshall.
Still
It's a penalty advantage there, Whitehouse. Don't want to let her wriggle free. She's got so much power. Skeets already with 2 tries.
Nothing's coming, we'll bring it
And
back.
Loughborough celebrate, but there was always advantage for Exeter.
1 offside. Get back before you come forward.
Exeter were playing really well there. I think that they were being really dominant, some real great footwork into some collisions, and they, from here, like they were winning most of those collisions, which gave them a really great go forward here.
They stabbed it into the corner, not totally tight in there. I know Lily is a forward. You want to see that on the 5-metre line every time a 10 goes for touch, but Exeter will have to settle for being 7 out. 6 in the line. A lot of options for this aerial set piece. Richardson usually a good bet, but instead it's Ellie Wood.
We'll take the knock-on off the top.
And Exeter fluff their lines.
It's on the 15.
That's a shame for Exeter there, because this is a really good aspect of their game, is their maul. They thrive off it. They're really good at it, and I think that that's going to be a real opportunity miss for them to keep that score.
Let's get that shoulder through and stay square, please.
Well, the Loughborough scrum was under some duress
Bind!
when these packs locked horns just a few minutes ago. And Exeter maybe with an early shove, but seemingly timing it just right. Off goes Abby Hart. Does very well with such untidy ball and a lot of limbs as well, travelling backwards. Weaver to Green.
Retreat now.
That's a beautiful angle to see that pass right into the breadbasket, and a really juicy clearance as well from Green.
8. I've seen that. Nothing off the ball.
Lucy Galladine for Loughborough has been doing really well for them. She's been giving Loughborough a really great platform. She's been doing really well with her carries. She's got really good footwork and evasive skills to get into that space.
How much do you work on your footwork as a forward these days?
We do it a lot. We do it a lot within the group, and I think that it's really important. You'd rather run into space than people.
Spaces, not faces. As I used to say when I was coaching as a school teacher back in the day. Here come Exeter, introducing their fullback Connie Clark. First PWR start at the back end of last season, and the back 3 are growing into it for Exeter. Elsie Fenn, 4 tries and player of the match against Cardiff only a couple of weeks ago. Woodman drops the shoulder, barrels over some Loughborough bodies. Now Whitehouse throws her weight into the attack. Middlebrook, clattered
Ball's available.
by Calladine. But the ball is quick for Exeter, and there's runners coming round the corner. Wonderful line speed, so much hunger for the hit
Okay, we'll take the knock on.
from Baverstock. Brilliant defence from Loughborough.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's some really great shots there
Sure,
from
scrap.
both sides. I think Exeter have done really well there, really
Time off
direct, but
away to
Loughborough
that
have really
player,
come
okay?
forward there with some real great dominant shots.
Okay.
Catherine Baverstock, you seen her in the back row very much in your time?
Actually, quite a
Yeah.
lot. She thrives in the back row. She thrives in the back row. She's great. She's got really great footwork, and she's really good in that space. And defensively, she's a really great player. But it's great that she can do both.
And what is the future holding for you, Lily, in the coming weeks? How's things going at Lightning for you and the crew?
That's okay.
We've just come away this weekend with a win against Tigers, which has been really good for us. We've been building some really great performances. We've got a big game this weekend against Saracens, so I think that would be a great game for us and a great game for us to go down and attack, which I'm quite excited for.
And losing your voice a little bit.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Barking too many instructions to those around you on the field?
No, not all the time.
Or is it just, you know, you want an excuse to not have to talk to Dave Rogers down pitch side after the game?
That must be it.
I back it. Well, in this break, it would be remiss of me to not mention that BUCS are proud to be supporting the Milk Every Moment campaign, highlighting the nutritional value of milk and how it can support students in their sporting performance. And thanks to Milk Every Moment and their support, it's helped us launch Women's BUCS Super Rugby, so particularly pertinent for this fixture here this evening, providing funding for referees at all fixtures, and the knockout stage of this year's BUCS Super Rugby competitions will also be known as the BUCS Super Rugby Milk Championships, culminating with the finals day in March. And at the moment, Exeter and Loughborough are two of the teams vying fiercely to be there on that big day in March. It was an epic semi-final between you two last season, wasn't it?
It was a great semi-final. Both teams really turned up for the game. Conditions were great, pitch was great, and I think that, again, I said it earlier, it's one of the hardest games I've played. Ball in play was so high. Both teams really wanted it, and it was great that Loughborough could come away with it at the end of that day.
What do you think gave you the edge that day?
I think that for Loughborough, it was going and winning that semi-final and winning it away, I think really drove that team into wanting to win that game, and I think they were all really dominant that day, and that was really great.
Well, the Maul skips out, gears 1, 2 and 3 and goes straight to 4 before hitting a bit of a Devonian roadblock. Swirling around, Loughborough do well to get the ball out. Morale goes out the back to Green, who kick passes but can't find Freya McCall.
I think that was a great option from Green because the space was there. Just could do with it potentially being a little bit shorter.
Edge, please.
Nice move, wasn't it? I mean, Carmela Morale offers such variety of danger as well, that being able to deploy her as a first receiver frees up that space for Green out the back nicely.
Yeah, completely. I think Carmela is a great player. She's a great ball carrier. She's a great ball handler as well. I think she's done really well previously within the Lightning group. She's got a lot of experience in the PWR, which she can really bring to this league here. I think she does really well with that ball distribution, but also like looking up IDing space.
Same more. That's one.
Exeter, fine meters, through heavy traffic. Cunningham, flats, ungainly, and into Weaver's hands. Oh, goodness me. Flattened by Sterrett, who really showing some physicality out there on the edge. Like to see her with the ball in her hands a little bit more in an attacking sense.
High. Here. 15 high.
But potentially going high on the challenge.
Sorry, 11.
Confirmation that Sterrett is the guilty culprit.
There's been some real big shifts in momentum in this second half, I feel like. I think Loughborough and Exeter have been really competing over this middle ground, and I think that there's some real great opportunities for both teams, but just potentially just some accuracy, which hasn't quite been there for them. And you can see that Loughborough are really chasing to get into their 22, wanting to score those tries, but Exeter, on the other hand, are doing so well to keep them out. They're defensive. picture has been so good, and they've been some real great shots, as you can just see there. But I think that it's going to be that territory battle. It's like who can be with that territory, who can win the most territory in this area.
Well, plenty of voices in there amongst. You're playing right at the top of the game at the moment, but you're still a student, and here at BUCS Super Rugby level, everyone has really lofty aspirations to go all the way. I mean, tell me you still get to have the student experience though. It's not all just books and boots and training. You know, after a big win, you still get to go and celebrate. You know, you're still enjoying that student life.
Yeah, I think that what's so good about Loughborough is they're great for those student athletes. Like, they're really accommodating to me and my training, which is great. But obviously, after a win, we love to go celebrate, especially with the group. And I think that for us, like, the university has really helped me and support me in what I do. And I think that's just what's really great about this university.
Almost prized out, privileged night out information from you, Lily. I'm going to keep trying to crowbar it out of you in the manner in which Loughborough are trying to crowbar their way into the Exeter 22, which they have done successfully. No points in this second half just yet. Churchy Knight looks to change that record. Weaver. And it's a battle in the skies.
We'll bring it back. Green
And Clark does just enough to put off Alice Bennett.
Loughborough have done really well there, I think. They've been playing really well. They had the advantage, they gave the kick, but again, great option, really good options to do that. It's just that execution part, which they could potentially do with getting right in this area. However, I say that they are in the right area of the field with a penalty, so they can kick to corner. They've had a really dominant maul so far, so it'd be good to see if they get through that.
Two decent mauls from both sides. It's interesting how both can be dominant in attack, but you know, both are unable to defend one another a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, that's the case with matches like this. They're two real physical packs, two really dominant packs, and when they go head to head, you see a lot of maul tries and things like that.
Well, we see already the fresher Abby Hart being a focal point, and she's having to squabble in the skies there with Ellie Wood, and the fact that Exeter thrown up a jumper means they're less settled and there's less numbers to defend. A big bust like that. And Catherine Baverstock gets rewarded for a barnstorming display in the back row. And her try hands Loughborough the lead again.
We're 1 point in it so far with a conversion to go, and that makes this game really exciting. And I think that both teams have done really well, but Loughborough there with them all, like I just spoke about, been really dominant.
A bonus point, try no less, for Loughborough. And Green has found her radar and found her range. Loughborough 24, Exeter 21. It's a big risk putting up a jumper, isn't it, when you're that close to the line, and just wonder if that was enough to give Loughborough the momentum.
No, I agree, and I think Exeter had marked that pod pretty well. So it was great execution there from Loughborough, especially as that's quite a risky place to go to.
No sooner does Knight claim the ball, she has Fairn swinging around her ankles. Green forced to spin on her heels, and she can only run down green and white dead ends. Weaver, oh, into the hands almost of Hannah Williams. After putting themselves under a bit of pressure with some imprecise passing.
Loughborough playing a lot here in their 22.
She's not rolled, I can't
and I think
reward
that,
you.
yes, here we've just been paid off with a penalty.
Five,
Before that,
not
you don't want to
rolling.
overplay here. Exeter are going to put them under a lot of pressure. We've got to find ways how we can get out of this and move our way up the pitch.
Well, they were clearly playing for the penalty. They haven't, jokes aside, Loughborough haven't been fearful of playing their way out of the 22 this evening.
No, they haven't. And I think that that's like, for them, that's been really good. And I think they've really tested those edges. They've really seen what space is on. However, Leah Green has controlled that really well. And if the opportunity is needed to kick, then she will do that, as she's got a great boot.
Exeter are the beneficiaries of the line out from Middlebrook is smashed again.
So knock on at the back of the breakdown.
And knocks on in the contact.
It's knock on by the 9 at the back.
That was unfortunate there. Exeter have done well there to turn over the line out. I think in a really good position to attack, but really unfortunate
We can
there.
stop it next when it's out, yeah? Yeah, we'll swap it next time, yeah. Come across.
Let's go, Kiwi. Let's go, let's go, really fuck up. Let's go. Come on, Connor.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Well, the lead has changed hands 4 times already since Exeter opened the scoring. But it is they who are trailing now, and they who are being invited to attack from range. Flightsy feats from Fern and up to the 10-metre. Brennan linking up with her fellow chief.
No, you've pulled her off her feet.
It's getting a fair bit of feet to the face down there. It is a real battle zone down there on the floor, and Sophie Langford is forced to hold on to the ball. The under-resourced ruck inviting the counter from Loughborough, and despite her protestations, it is a penalty to Loughborough.
That was really great effort and second effort there from Molly. She did so well to fire at that breakdown, give it a go, yet putting everyone in there under pressure, coming away with the penalty.
It was never a pen for you. She's lost the jackal. You've pulled her off the feet. You then need to play the ball.
A clear explanation from the referee. Langford only just onto the field. 2 tries against Loughborough earlier in the season, a try in that semi-final last year, and such an aggressive ball carrier. But it's the fresher Hearts who is really growing into her role in the line out. Well, she's growing in stature as well, as she is upended through the dynamics of the maul. And Weaver now has it on the floor. Big runners to aim for, none more so than Canna Williams. This is Knights. And Weaver is driving that tempo now. Finch sort of buffeted back. And again, Hart into the action. Baverstock, the last woman to cross the paint in the game, almost has her pocket picked, but Weaver now finds Knight. The Exeter defensive line looking slightly less populated now as Green goes out the back to Baker. Can't get the hands free to feed McCull. Exeter having to make a mountain of tackles here. Just that late ball to Knights, almost helping Loughborough find a way through. Instead, Litei sweeps up the crumbs and forges ahead. Wonderful pickup from Green.
Scrum advantage over.
Morale with that carry sees the knock-on advantage disappear. Knight has been so industrious all evening. And now Green seeks the frame of Baverstock. She gets swallowed by 2 green and white jerseys. Oh, and finally, Exeter's discipline, Exeter's defensive resolve pays, and Loughborough spill forward. The visitors with the advantage. They'll clear their lines through Cunningham, but it's sliced off the boot. And Loughborough still have a wonderful opportunity here.
I think they've done really well in this position here. They've come around the corner, being direct. However, credit to Exeter. Their defence there was brilliant, putting Loughborough under so much pressure and then ultimately forcing that knock on. I think they've done really well in that position.
Well, Jodie Verghese, wearing 19, has just bounded on alongside Faye Robinson, the number 21, who replaces Lucy Weaver, who's had a busy evening at the base. Can Faye Robinson emulate the tempo that Weaver was just beginning to dictate in the game?
Taken back.
Or Cunningham had that ball passed back into her and it's gone straight out. So
On the edge.
that's a bit of a lapse of concentration, and Loughborough, well, they get a carbon copy really, albeit 5, maybe 10 metres further forward.
Let's go.
Yeah, for them, this is going to be a great opportunity for them. However, it's just unlucky for Exeter to have that go straight out. I think that was a really great option for them, but however, this is good for Loughborough, a good platform to see what they can do.
Exeter being asked to weather a storm here. Finch can't make it hers. Frustration for Loughborough.
Still got scrum advantage.
And another let off for Exeter.
Outside. Yes, please. Take them back.
Well, taken back in and pumped out on the full again by Cunningham. Back-to-back errors from the playmaker.
They still had scrum advantage. It's a knock-on.
But this time,
It's a knock-on off the top.
this time she had the insurance policy.
That's good then, because you don't want to make that error twice.
Time off. It won't be in. Time is off.
There's been 2 real good opportunities here for Loughborough to enter back in, to potentially heighten that score line they already have, but just with some errors, some line errors, some set piece errors, that they haven't been able to come away with that, and it'll be important for them now with the next opportunity that they make the most of that.
Time on.
I'm sure that the eyes of Edinburgh, Hartpury, Cardiff Met are going to be watching very, very closely. This is first v fourth as the table stood at the start of the day. Exeter top of the log and Loughborough in fourth, but only 9 points separate these two sides.
Bind. Set.
It really just highlights how competitive this league is, doesn't it?
Massively so. A real snakes and ladders table. One win and one loss can propel or send you plummeting in equal measure.
Take him back.
Cunningham picks out Green, who puts a really authoritative name on it. Baker puts a bit of air on it, and there's African violet jerseys queuing up outside, including Lutei. Lutei throws out the fend, but only finds fresh air. The replacement scrum half Robinson zips it away to Baker.
That was forward. We'll bring it back 15 high.
Oh, the tackle from Clark was high.
That was really great there from Green. She really pulled that back. Everyone worked back really hard then to get the ball to the edge. It's something they've probably been working on as a group. again, you're seeing that connection between Carmela and Molly on the edge, really opening up that space, which has been really good for them and really good in terms of getting that line break playing on top.
Subs? No? Yeah.
Exeter still under siege and in a corner that has proved fruitious for Loughborough to this point. And the deadly Caledine is latched on and getting an armchair ride to a hat-trick here at home. Heroic defence from Exeter, and I think Fionn Marshall has denied the hooker her hat-trick.
Again, what an opportunity for Loughborough to take some points there. In the 22, can really lengthen that scoreline. However, you can't discredit that defence there. Holding up the ball, releasing that pressure, allowing them to get a foothold back into this game.
Well, here they go. Loughborough looking for the edge, looking for one of their flies. It already delivered a try, but Alice Bennett all wrapped up. There's a rhythm to the manner in which Loughborough are building their attacks now. How long can Exeter hold? Not much longer, as Baverstock hurtles through a hole and connects with Carmela. Morale in for a wonderful score.
It's a really great interlinking play there. Coming out the back of the forwards, hit Kath on a hard line. She's done really well. Like I said, she's great with footwork, some really great footwork there to give that offload to Carmela, who I think did a big old dive over the line there.
Why not? Why not finish with a flourish?
About 11 to go.
About 11 minutes to go. What a key time for Loughborough to strike.
Yeah, great, thank you. Appreciate that.
29-21. This kick makes it 10 points and 2 clear scores. Exeter must rally. Exeter with a mini mountain in the Midlands to climb. And what an arrival from Baverstock. And then the wherewithal to find Morale, who swan dives home. The Carmela splash being announced to Women's BUCS Super Rugby. And Baverstock, who's been a force of nature with 6 on her back this evening, claims the kickoff smoothly. And Loughborough will look to exit.
Taken back.
Carried back in, and Green shows composure. Marshall and Fenn looking to get their hands on her, but...
Head injury. Stay there, please.
Girls, come away.
Some concern here for Anna Richardson.
It's okay. Yes.
I'm going to give you loads of advance warning,
Okay.
mainly because I usually forget about this. But you need to think about your player of the match, and your contenders.
Okay.
Because we'll run through a few runners and riders, but we'll need a firm one. There's plenty of meat on the bone for this match to come, and a hero to come to the fore, be they in African violet or green and white.
Is she on for 8?
Josie Plant,
Yes.
who's another one
8, you're going off, okay? They've made a change.
of your England 20s colleagues.
It'll be a scrum
Comes
your
on
ball
to
the 5.
lend a bit of
Be scrum their
Cornish
ball to restart the play.
strength to the front row. Danny
There's
Priest
your mark.
is there wearing 23. Another one of the Exeter Chiefs in the ranks, and Anna Richardson looks like
Time on.
her race may be run.
Crouch!
I'd imagine
Bind!
Genevieve Shaw would probably
Come up.
be coming on
Set
in her
hadn't been
place.
called.
Can't quite tell you for sure just
Set
yet.
needs to be called before ball comes in, okay? It's all right.
Can I see him again? Let's go, girls! Let's go!
But Exeter
Let's go, Callum!
will want to
Go!
flex their scrummaging muscles here.
Bind!
They need a mini win out
Set!
there just to change the momentum of this match at the moment, which is looking increasingly securely in Loughborough's grass.
Time off. Call from the AR. Okay.
Just a hook, but I need
Okay. Time's off. Time is off. It will be scrum your ball to restart. We've had to stop the play.
A little bit
Time is
of
still off, don't set.
clarity sought by everyone about kind of the circumstances of that breaking down
Time
and the
is off.
stoppage. I'm just looking
I might have
around. I
said on it. I
think
meant to say
Catherine
off.
Baverstock, out of shots, is getting patched up,
Okay.
certainly getting assessed.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Time's off. Time's off. Sorry. It will be a reset. Yes.
It's the old like holding up fingers and asking how many do you see. Obviously, that depends on
come
what
across,
university you
we'll
go
set it
to
this
as
side
well
of
as to how successful that test is.
Time on.
Switch on! Let's go, girls! Come on! Let's go, girls! Yeah, let's go, girls! Let's go, lads! Come on, lads. I'm with you, Carlo. Let's go!
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Well, Loughborough's body position superior to Exeter's on that occasion, and it's a really crisp platform for Loughborough to flash wide and deploy their pace all the way up to the 10-metre line. All the money was on a kick clearance, but Loughborough with the adventure and the ambition to go wide and put themselves in a far more promising position and ask far more of their opposition. But the defence mighty on the near side
Loughborough on the line.
from the captain Brennan and co. And now Exeter finally get their hands on the ball with a line out on the Loughborough 10.
What a great shot that was into the touch there.
Yes, please, green.
Exeter have done really well in this position to then get that line out together and that opportunity to come back
Set
in.
on it. Set on it. Maul! Don't change, 20.
Exeter revert to the
wet round,
ball.
now wet round, you've changed. No, she's not.
Rolls round the corner. There's one Loughborough body in there who's persisting in being a nuisance,
You've
but
still got advantage.
Exeter have penalty advantage. Langford goes route one. The fresh lungs and legs of Exeter looking to make a dent. Cunningham. Just purple jerseys flying up. Hungry for contact.
You've still got advantage.
Hannah Woodman brushes off the first attempt. Marshall to Langford. Oh, shuddering shot on Georgie Barker. Cunningham. Skeets. Cropping up in the 15-metre channel now. The uncompromising prop.
I'll tell you when. Advantage over!
There's a fresh venom in the way that Exeter are carrying into the opposition bodies. Langford leading the charge.
Exeter have really got themselves in a great position here.
Carry by carry, contact by contact. Cunningham, a lot of bodies flood into the channel and create a hole for her. Then she feeds the speed, but really encourages the power to come in field. Now it's Ellie Woods. Skeets already has 2.
No!
The jackal from Baverstock is
You work first. 6.
illegal.
Hands in.
Exeter hanging around, the tap, the go. Skeets can't batter her way through the purple door, but one carry tight round the fringes. And Exeter are there. It was Skeets that got them close. But another hard-working forward who finished the job, and underneath the uprights.
Yes. Is that what you've got?
This is going to make this game really interesting in the last 5 minutes here.
I think you'll ask me something.
Cunningham will make light work of this one. Three-point game, a grandstand finish incoming with only minutes left of the game.
Yeah. Thank you.
Maisie Johns, Kendall Wardby and Emily Heaps
Have you made
enter
any
the
changes
fray
yet?
with the game on a knife edge.
Time off. We'll get the ball. Time's off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Kendall, so far this season, has been a real key player
Time
within our
on!
PWR squad. She's done really well. She came down to Exeter the other week and started 7, and she's really flourishing into her game. She's doing really well, and we'll see what she can do in these last 5 minutes.
And Naomi Brennan accelerates with such purpose into those Loughborough bodies. 3 points, the difference. A long way to go. But one thing that has hallmarked this Exeter performance this evening is their ability to come back.
Nothing's coming. We'll bring it back. 12. Offside. 12.
And that penalty will help very nicely indeed.
Loughborough really need to keep their discipline down in these last 3 minutes if they want to keep in the foothold of this game.
Yes. Take the line, please. We're inside your half. 50 centimeters on.
Well, 2.5 minutes showing on our game clock. In the stadium clock, time's up. But it doesn't matter about those clocks. The only one is that of Emily Hopes.
Don't change that.
And the hopes of Exeter rest
Say more.
on how long she'll allow the Devonians to chase this deficit.
She's not changed.
But Loughborough
Down by
Arms
Green.
have infiltrated
Down by Green.
this maul until Exeter get it to the
Taken
floor.
by Green.
A maul no more. Langford bounces around one, takes 2 more to drag her down. Marshall looking at the short side. Oh, the knock on. And Priest unable
Always under
to capture
pressure,
it.
Take the knock on.
Oh, that's a huge call.
Yeah, that's a really big call.
There's your mark there.
Well, the advantage was played to Loughborough. I think a Loughborough hand nudged that on forward first.
Yeah, that was a really big call there from the ref, and I think that
You need to get the ball in. Don't leave it at the
now
feet.
Loughborough have got this opportunity to keep possession, keep with Holland to the game to hopefully come away with that win.
Let's go! Let's go!
Loughborough
Crowd!
must survive.
Bind!
Just one more
Set.
scrum. Exeter
Still in. Advantage.
go offside. Marshall too eager. Green with consequenceless attacking now with the referee's arm in her favour. Robinson continues to fizz the ball around as Loughborough seek width, and
Offside.
now we come back for the offside of Marshall.
Here.
It's around about that time to talk about players of the match, Lily.
30 seconds.
I'm going to start with Exeter, and for me, Skeets has done so well for the team. She's given them a brilliant foothold, 2 tries in the game, been a really great dominant character for me. She's in great contention. Up there with her is Abby Middlebrook, again, been on the ball a lot, been offering some great tip balls, great lines, some really dominant in that area. But
Edge, please.
I'm going to come over to the Loughborough side. Catherine Bamstock has done really well within the game, scored a try, had some great lines off Carmela, and great footwork, been really evasive within the game. But for me, Carmela has been my player of the match. I think she's done really well under pressure. Her ball skills have been great. She's been able to distribute the ball, get people in spaces, ideally put Catherine into that hole, which allowed her to score. Comes away with a try, so for me, she's my player of the match.
So Carmela Morale,
Okay.
the Women's BUCS Super Rugby player of the match tonight. But at this moment, not guaranteed to be on the winning side, because Exeter have one last roll of the attacking dice.
Let's speed her up, please. 6, let's go!
First job accomplished. Langford slips it out the back. One juggle from Exeter, but they hold on. Every pass under pressure, every tackle needs to be made. Loughborough tear it from the grasp of Exeter. They hammer the ball beyond the dead ball, and ecstasy envelops Loughborough as they defeat Exeter in a thriller in the Midlands.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
A Carmela Morale inspired performance has yielded a bonus point victory for Loughborough against a classy Exeter who pushed them right to the very last seconds. Wow, what a match, Lily.
What a great match. As you said so yourself, the lead within that game changed, was that 4 times? It was such a close game, really dominant game, and luckily for Loughborough, they've come out on top here.
Full time here, it is Loughborough 31, Exeter 28. Another classic between these two Women's BUCS Super Rugby titans. Well, this is how it all started. Goodness me, some number of tries ago. It was the fastest of starts for Exeter. Millie Whitehouse emerging from the pile of green and white jerseyed bodies to start the scoring in a contest that saw the lead change hands multiple times. Loughborough's response through Lucy Calladine didn't quite edge them into the lead as the conversion wasn't added, but it was certainly the shape of things to come. A more dominant match with both sides finding themselves in the ascendancy when it came to attack. Lucy Weaver and Leah Green combined nicely, but there, our player of the match, Carmela Morale, freeing her hands to link up with Molly Lutei, and Alice Bennett applying the pace to ensure the try. Exeter kept coming. Every time Loughborough crossed their paint, they came right back up and wrest back control of the scoreboard. Alessia Skeets with the first of a pair of tries for the Italian Exeter hooker. Prop, I beg your pardon. But it was this hooker, Lucy Calladine, who helped herself to a brace. Again, great cohesion. And a perfectly formed and ultimately undefendable maul. Saw the hooker crash over for her second. Before the second half scoring got back underway. This was a fine, fine try and a flourish with the finish from Carmela Morale. Loughborough led by 10 at that stage in the dying embers of the match. And Alessia Skeets with another trademark carry took Exeter close. The penalty surrendered by Baverstock was taken on again by Exeter's powerhouse prop. And although she was repelled, eventually, with one more carry, Exeter made it across the line, and with Cunningham's conversion, set up a grandstand finish. But despite a number of opportunities, plenty of pressure, and no shortage of courage, Exeter couldn't quite mount the impossible comeback, and Loughborough survived, closing out the game 31-28. Goodness me, heart-stopping stuff on a Wednesday. BUCS Super Rugby style. Do we ever serve up anything different? It is a repeat of the last 2 years' Cup finals coming up for you next here this evening. 7 p.m. kickoff for Loughborough against Exeter. And then in the coming weeks across the stream, we are down in the Welsh capital for Cardiff versus Hartpury, and Cardiff Mets against Cardiff in the clash. Well, Exeter, having been undefeated until last week, now suffer 2 losses on the spin. And Loughborough now have the scalps of both Hartpury and Exeter in a fortnight. Fuel for the women's BUCS Super Rugby fire, and one they hope that will burn them brightly towards the final once again this year. Right, I believe D-Rog is down pitch side with some people interesting. Who have you got for me, D-Rog?
Who we have put some roller skates on and made sure that she stayed busy. You've gone from the warm to the cold, but you are, well, you're glowing actually, because that was a great performance from your team.
What a great game that was. I mean, the lead was shifted between both sides, like about 4 times I think we calculated it as, and the game was great. It was the physicality as I thought, the competitive levels that I thought, and I think what a brilliant result there for Loughborough to come out on top.
Absolutely incredible. Look, one of the things that's improved, we talked about the parallels between the PWR and BUCS Super Rugby, is that the predictability is out of the window. And when the whistle goes on a Wednesday or a Saturday, you don't know who's going to win. Exeter were in unbelievable form. They've been ruthless. They've already put 50 on Loughborough, but here we are, well, here you are, celebrating a bonus point win.
No, completely, and I think Loughborough really played into that today. I think, obviously, we've come away with an unfortunate result at the start of the season, but to come around and put those points back onto Exeter, I think they've done really well. But credit to Exeter, their attack has been great, their forwards have been so dominant, and their carries have been brilliant. They've got a really dominant forward pack, which we knew that was going to come, but Loughborough dealt with that well, and they really dealt with their field position really well, and they came out on top.
We've got some guests over here. Who should we bring in first? Coach? He looks cold, doesn't he?
Yeah, we'll bring Coach
He does
in.
look cold. He's got 2 coats on. So Martin Webdale is just wearing a top and shorts, and he's like, I'm nails. Come on. In you come. You were saying some pretty nice things about this man. Should we ask him a couple of questions? Come in close. We can huddle for body warmth like penguins. Is that the best performance of the season?
Oh wow, that's on the spot. It's definitely the most improved. I think the point that we've been making is that we've kind of setting baselines the last couple of games. So Hartbury we felt was a really good kind of starting point, and we think we improved in this game today. But it's just the start in my eyes.
What about character? It's a word I like to bandy about, but you were down at half-time. Many people had you as underdogs today. You've turned that score around. You've got a bonus point win against a team who are putting 50, 60, 70 points a week on absolutely everyone. What does that say about the character of this group?
I think it can probably be summed up by the last two games where we've been under the cosh a little bit, conceded penalties when we're within a score, and then we have the ability to kind of connect as a team and go and get the ball back essentially.
Is this a real cornerstone you can build on?
Absolutely, yeah. It's what's so exciting, and it's the reason that I kind of took the job in the first place. Is just to work with these kind of like players. It's so exciting, and yeah, I think, like I said, today's just a start.
Go and warm up. Well played. Congratulations. Before we bring in high fives all round. Before we bring in the player of the match, it was probably a tough choice because there were great performances on both sides of the ball. Why did you go for this one?
Yeah, it was a real tough choice because so many people played really well. But for me, Carmela, she played unbelievable today. She's really great with her ball in hand, putting people in spaces. There was quite a few times there where she dropped Molly into spaces, and the try that you saw with Alice Bennett came from her. And I think that she's done really well, really good under the high ball. And today she was exceptional.
Should we bring her in?
Yeah.
Player of the match. Do you know what? You look freezing as well. You stood there with your arms folded. She must be bored of us. Performance-wise, you've got the victory. Personal performance brilliant. Team performance brilliant. Is that as good as it's been this year so far?
I think that's probably one of the best performances we had. But we've talked about it a lot, and that's not our top level. We've got so much more to give in that, and we're just excited to keep bringing that.
What is the top level then?
I think there's still a couple of mistakes we're making that we probably can pick up on and fix. There's a couple of things we can tweak in our attack, but overall, I think we're really proud of that performance today, and we're really happy to get the win.
I think the expectation with Loughborough, we've talked about this, whether it is PWR, whether it's BUCS Super Rugby, whether it was Women's National League before, is that when it comes to the business end of the season, you want to be there or thereabouts, competing for trophies. And we've seen that it is a very difficult league to be competitive in. Do you think you've shown enough this season and enough this evening to show that you can be there when the going gets tough?
Yeah, I think that performance showed it all. We obviously made it to the final last year. We have those things to give, and we came up short last year, but that's not what we want. We want to go for gold, and we're going to keep pushing and keep building and keep getting better to hopefully come away with the trophy at the end of the year.
Well, we'll bring you in on this. You talked about the synergy and the pathway between BUCS Super Rugby and the PWR team, and I suppose you're a great example of that. Does it feel like one club?
Yeah, completely. That's exactly how I'd explain it. We all work together. I said it upstairs. You'll see a lot of the Lightning girls here supporting today. We are one club. We really pride ourselves into that, and I think that's how this pathway works. That's how we become fluid, and that's how we can become to where we are. It's because of of one club we are, and I think that you can see from the team today, and also the team that gets put out on the weekend, how fluid it is and how many BUCS players you'll see within both. And I think that's what really highlights the importance of our pathway and how we can get executions and results like this today.
And from your perspective, of course, you're ambitious, you're an excellent player. I'm sure you want to be playing PWR week in, week out, but when you play BUCS Super Rugby, is it still something you look forward to? Is it still a standard of rugby that really inspires you?
Yeah, definitely. All the girls playing in this league are girls that are on the cusp of PWR. So you're performing against people your age who are probably as good as you and are aiming for that top level with you. So it's like playing against your peers, and it's a challenge because you're up against someone that you're probably competing with at your age.
Any celebrations tonight?
Potentially, yeah.
Hey, good luck. Congratulations. You are the player of the match. Go be with the team. Go do something fun.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. More importantly, go and get warm. We're going to do that, but before that, let's get some final thoughts from you. That's a heck of a game of rugby and a great standard, isn't it?
Completely. And from Biassy, I'm so proud of the girls today that they've really put in a massive shift out there, and they've done really well. They've come back when down. They must have had some pretty hard conversations at times with even things around the penalty count. So they've done really well there, but massive credit to Exeter. It's always a really fierce and really physical game, even from when I played. And I think that they will come out here today with some vengeance. They want to have that win. They had the first win. They want to have the second. They want to keep building on things like that. So, but yeah, they played unbelievably. But Loughborough came away with the win today.
Well, you made that memory in the semi-final last year. This team have made the memory against Exeter, and the table toppers head to Topsham toppled. That could have gone so much worse. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
One down, one to go in our BUCS Super Rugby doubleheader. The first honours go to the African Violets. It is Exeter men against Loughborough men here on Epinal Way. It's coming up. Get yourself warm, get the kettle on, get some snacks in. What would you go for?
Me, I'd probably get some biscuits.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
I was thinking pizza. Maybe both. Anyway, we'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.